Welcome to the podcast. It's the magical holidays. Time for Joe watching 60 Christmas movies in 60 days. Why, you might ask? Because it sounds like a crazy task to be watching 60 Christmas movies in 60 days. It'll be struggle, no I won't lie. By the halfway point I will lose my mind, but with your support I'm gonna be fine. So let's have a blast on this Christmas time. Join me now and let's find out about today's Christmas movie. Was it good or bad? Happy or sad? Is there another dead mom and dad? Let's get to it with no delay. It's your old pal Joe and he's happy to say welcome to Joe watches 60 Christmas movies in 60 days.
How's it going, everybody? It's me, it's your old pal Joe, and welcome to episode 29 of Joe Watches 60 Christmas Movies in 60 Days. This is the second of 3 recordings I'm doing back to back because things have gotten out of hand and I am already struggling. It is a burden. This is a terrible idea. Why did I bring this back? But let's not focus on the negative. Let's instead focus on the positive. The positive being my good friends over at Third Eye Comics. As I mentioned in the last episode, and I will mention for another 31 episodes, if you need anything for the holiday season, if you're looking for a gift for someone, I don't think of a better place that you can go than Third Eye Comics. You can go to one of their physical stores in the world. You can go to thirdeyecomics.com and find out where they are in relation to where you are. But if you're not nearby one of their stores, then there's no better solution than to go to shop.thirdeyecomics.com and find something that someone you love may also love. Third Eye Comics, support them because they're supporting me. Let's get on with the movie. Today's movie is One Starry Christmas. It's a movie about the stars, but not really about the stars. Well, actually, you know what? I've run into lots of movies that say they're about something, like the one movie, Saving Christmas Spirit, which is about anthropology, but it's not really about anthropology. This movie is more about stars than that movie was about anthropology. We open with our main character, Holly, arriving at home when she gets a call from the professor that she works for, telling her there's a good chance she can get a permanent teaching job at the university. Holly is very excited. We then learn she's starting to be an astronomy teacher. Inside her home, she celebrates this information with her boyfriend. He is very happy for her. He also shows off a very big and very white Christmas tree that he bought. He even bought it already decorated. She's a bit disappointed that she won't get to decorate the tree, but then plays it off. Her boyfriend also has some good news. He's going to be hired as a permanent legal counsel for a tech company, but he'd have to move to New York. He'll even be away during the Christmas week to finalize the deal. She's disappointed because of the teaching position that she's up for, which would be not in New York, and she's also unhappy that he'll be gone for Christmas. He says Christmas is just another day on the calendar. And that's when she gets a little upset with them and says, Monday is a day on the calendar. What other day has a whole soundtrack and season? She says she was looking forward to the two of them building their own Christmas traditions. He even agreed to do this. This is why she didn't go to her parents for Christmas. He says, yes, but this deal could help us take our relationship to the next level. Her frown immediately turns upside down. She gets very excited about this prospect. He points out that they wanted to get their careers in a secure place before getting more serious together. Well, this could be that. She wants him to say the word, which in this case I guess would be about marriage. He says, you know what I mean. And she is so excited she just lets it go that he didn't say the word marriage. She then asks if he's up for going outside and stargazing. He says, I'd rather stay in and watch Jeopardy. She gets back to being sad. Cut to Holly's parents. This is our main character. Did I say her name before? I probably did. Her name is Holly. Yes, I did. We cut to her parents. Her parents are upset to hear that their daughter will be spending Christmas alone. They've learned that not only is she not visiting them for Christmas, that her boyfriend will also not be around. The dad suggests that they invite her up for Christmas, but her mom says that she has a dissertation due on Friday, and she also doesn't fly. They've mentioned this a few times in this movie, but I think it's just so that we understand why she eventually takes a bus when she has to go somewhere. We learn that mom doesn't really care for her boyfriend. It's not that he's a bad guy, it's just that she thinks her daughter deserves better. She deserves the same spark that her parents have. Over to Holly, she finishes her dissertation and sets it underneath the tree. Actually, I take it. My note might have been wrong at this point. It's possible that she got feedback for her dissertation and she passed, and that's what she was waiting on. It doesn't matter. She's very happy, and she sets the dissertation under her tree. She decides to book a bus trip to surprise her boyfriend. She then acts out how happy he'll be to see her and how happy her parents will be to find out that she's eventually going to get married. She does a whole thing where she's like, "Oh, boyfriend, I'm so happy to see you." And he goes, "I'm so lucky to have you in my life. Will you marry me?" And then she accepts, and then she holds out her hand. And she goes like, "Look, Mom and Dad, I'm getting married." That whole thing. She acts it out by herself. She shows off her imaginary ring. Anyway, she declares it with no evidence so far, the best Christmas ever. In 2 days, she'll be with the ones she loves. Cut to her getting on a bus. During the night of the trip, she accidentally rolls over onto her seatmate while she's sleeping. She's so embarrassed. And then we learn he's a handsome cowboy. He's also sitting with a saddle. He calls the saddle Dale after Roy Rogers' wife, Dale Evans. And I could have told you Roy Rogers' wife's name because it's just one of those facts that my mom is able to recall at a moment's notice. She'll be like, somehow Roy Rogers, maybe even the food chain will come up. And she'll be like, his wife was Dale Evans, and she could sing really well. And then she will quote the song Happy Trails to You, because that is a song that Roy Rogers did. We find out that the cowboy, his name is Luke, I believe. Yes, Luke. He's heading to a rodeo. He talks about how special rodeo riding is to him. It's like every laugh that made you cry or every kiss that made you love all rolled into one. So let's give you some space here to understand where people are and where they're going. The meeting that the boyfriend has to go to is in New York. That is also happens to be where her parents are living. So she's going to kill two birds with one stone. She's going to go visit her boyfriend, surprise him, but she's also going to go be able to see her parents. Now, Luke is going to New Jersey for this rodeo competition, so he's on this bus that's taking them to New York. He'll also be meeting his brother there. His brother's name is Bull. The two of these two kids chat for a long time inside the bus. Then the bus breaks down. Everyone departs while they look at the bus. Holly takes this chance to look at the stars and tells the cowboy that this is what she has her doctorate in. She decides to call her boyfriend. We find out Luke doesn't even have a cell phone. Oh, but speaking of cell phones, she can't call her boyfriend because there's no cell service around there for some reason. Luke the cowboy takes a seat nearby and starts playing the goddamn harmonica. He's even playing Silent Night. Luke and Holly talk more about the stars. She talks about how important the constellation Orion is to her. When she was little, her mom told her that the 3 stars on Orion's belt represented Santa's belt instead. If she gave those stars all of her wishes, then Santa would hear them. Luke tells her to make a wish on the stars. She says it's silly kid stuff. He says it's only silly if it doesn't come true. And I'm not sure if that holds up to scrutiny there. I think something can still be silly even if it is true. He starts to give his wish, but then before he can, they're interrupted by the backfiring of the bus. The bus is not looking good. Holly notices a payphone nearby and calls her boyfriend. She wakes him up in the middle of the night, but she tells him about her surprise visit, and he is so excited. He's so touched. She says, "I missed you," and he says, "I missed you too." She asks if he can pick her up, and he says he can't. He has a big meeting that morning that he can't miss. He tells her that he loves her and then hangs up before she says the same and falls asleep. They play this like it's some big affront to their relationship, but she did wake him up, and so I could see him just saying, "I love you," and then hanging up the phone. When she's done with the call, Luke the cowboy pulls up in a pickup truck. He says he found a rental place around the corner, and so they have a way of getting where they need to go. He's willing to give her a ride to New York. She's in. The next morning, Holly checks in with her mom. She's actually stopping by. Oh, this is when I learned that she's actually going to stop by to visit her parents. She also tells him that she's bringing a friend with her. Her mom gets excited. Holly and Luke arrive, and it's only then that she invites Luke to stay for dinner. Now, she told her mom that she was bringing a friend for dinner, and then hours later, after they arrive, that's when she asked Luke if he wants to stay for dinner. Why wouldn't she have asked him while they were in the truck together? Anyway, Holly's mom and dad are so excited to see her and excited to meet Luke. We learn Luke has a ranch down in Texas. Holly's dad is super impressed by Luke's rodeo talents. They want Luke to stay there for the night and celebrate Christmas with them the next day. Which I thought this was Christmas Eve. It's not. I think the next day is Christmas Eve. They even invite to have his brother come over to stay with them for dinner too. Not stay overnight, just for the dinner part the next day. And then her boyfriend arrives as well. So The boyfriend just shows up out of nowhere, like story-wise. We had no idea that he knew that Holly would be there when she was, but here he is. He's showing up. He's excited to see her. He's excited to see the parents again, but he's less excited to see Luke. He gets a bit defensive after finding out Luke helped Holly to get there, but quickly moves to bragging about his big upcoming business deal. It's all coming together, he says. Holly asks if she and her boyfriend could go Christmas shopping the next day. He says he's too busy. He will be there for dinner that night, though. Luke is in for the shopping, though, much to the boyfriend's chagrin. Later, Holly chats with her mom. Her mom is very upfront with her dislike of her boyfriend. It's not that he's a bad guy. He's just a bad guy for Holly. Holly seems to be thinking about this, taking it into consideration. Later that night, Holly heads out to watch the stars from a swing on the lawn. Luke joins her, just out of nowhere. It's like he was watching her inside the house. Oh, she went outside. Let me follow her. Holly points out that he still needs to make his wish, and he promises he will. I don't think we ever come back to what his wish would be. I figured it was going to be a secret wish where he would wish for them to be together, but I don't think he ever comes back to it, at least not explicitly enough for my attention. He also asks if her boyfriend likes the stars as much as she does. He does not. One time at a party, he even introduced her as an astrologer, and she had the people coming up to her all night to talk about their star signs. She shows him Orion in the sky again, and he tells a different, very cowboy version of the stars and how they got into the sky. It's very silly, and I will not retell it. Then he also mentions that it's from a song. The next day, it's the big shopping trip with Holly and Luke. We see Holly very concerned with how she looks before she goes on the shopping trip. Cut to them walking through the city. He's very impressed with how Christmassy the big city is. Luke finds out that you can rent a horse to ride in Central Park, so that is their first stop. Holly has never ridden a horse before, though. As they ride side by side, they chat a lot. We find out Luke doesn't have a girlfriend. We also find out that Luke read her entire dissertation. I do not know when he had the time to do this, but he apparently did it. She's so touched he did so. Eventually, the ride comes to an end. Holly suggests ice skating is next. He's not good doing that, but he tries anyway. He falls pretty quickly onto the ice. She tells him to hold on to her and he'll be fine. And then he is. They take a few laps and have a good time. Until Luke falls again. This time he pulls her on top of him. Oh my goodness, Luke. But then Holly gets a call from her professor. Not only is there a potential opening for a position at the school the next year, she just finds out that she won a big award that she was up for. It's some kind of grant money. She's so excited. It was an award that meant a lot to her. It was named after somebody who inspired her. Whatever, it doesn't matter. She's very excited about winning this award. Luke and she celebrate. That night, Luke's brother is the first person to arrive at Holly's parents' place. As I mentioned, his name is Bull. He's very appreciative of them having him and his brother over for dinner. Then Holly's boyfriend is next, and then Holly and Luke. Luke is so happy to see his big brother. Also, Holly's boyfriend got the job. Holly is so happy for him. Then the group finds out about Holly and Luke's day. Her boyfriend makes fun of going horseback riding. She also tells him about getting the award. Everyone is happy for her. Bull offers a toast to Holly's good news. And then he sings a song about the stars while playing the guitar. So as I mentioned, Luke told a story about how the stars got into the sky. And it was kind of silly the way he put it. But then, finding out that Luke told the story, Bull at dinner says, "My brother can't tell a story. I know how to tell it properly. Do you guys have a guitar?" And they do. So then he takes that guitar, and with his brother playing harmonica on background, Bull then sings the song about how the stars got into the sky. And the thing is, it sounds really nice. So I've clipped it here, and you can listen to a part of the song here.
Wild Bill was a wild one, and he loved a pretty young filly named Josephine. But one night in a snowstorm, Bill didn't come home, and that was the last time that he would be seen. Bill used to sing her sweet love songs of Christmas. They walked hand in hand through the fields. And one time he picked her a dozen camellias, said, "I love you forever, my sweet Josephine." Camellias for Christmas. She cried more tears than stars up in the sky. She waited there night after night
The song as it plays drives Holly's parents to dance and Holly to tears. Everyone claps when it's over. Then the boyfriend makes fun of it using a southern accent. Holly calls him off, and then he invites Holly and her parents to some fancy party later that night. But unfortunately for him, Holly's dad throws out his back trying to learn how to throw a lasso. So now her dad isn't going to go. But guess what? There's still a fourth that can go, and it's going to be Luke going as Holly's mom's date. The boyfriend is not happy about this. Cut to the party. Holly's boyfriend complains that Luke wore his cowboy hat, but then the big CEO he got his new job with comes around and really likes Luke. He thinks he's cool and he wants to talk to him. He notes that some of the women at the party are eyeing Luke up and down, so Luke gives the CEO some confidence to go and talk with them. The CEO is just too nervous, though, so Luke then gets the whole group to line dance. Everyone has a good time, including the CEO. The boyfriend, though, he keeps making faces. He's so miserable. Holly asks him to dance. Instead, he goes to get a drink. As I mentioned, everyone has fun at the line dancing. After the line dancing, Luke and Holly dance on their own. They get pretty close. The boyfriend watches this and stews. He decides to break up the entire party by grabbing the microphone. He thanks the CEO for his kindness during this week, and he also thanks Holly for surprising him for Christmas. He then says that they've been dating for 3 years and it's time they take the next step. He doesn't have a ring yet, but he asks Holly if she'll marry him. She asks, "Wait, are you really asking me?" He replies, "Why not?" She takes her time, so the boyfriend whispers to her, "Please answer, you're embarrassing me." And with that, Holly says yes. The party picks back up as Holly and her boyfriend dance. Luke looks forlorn. Holly and her boyfriend get back to her parents' place. He's annoyed that she's not happier. She points out, "You didn't even have a ring. You only did this because of Luke." He said, "Well, I figured I'd ask you sooner or later, so I thought it might as well be sooner." He says it's time. They're at the right age. It's the logical next step. And look, if you want a ring, I'll go get you the biggest diamond in the city. She says, "No, I don't want a ring. I want love. Where our touch electrifies each other's soul." He thinks he can do that, but she doesn't. They go back and forth for a while, but then she says they need to face facts. They've tried, and then hits him. "You don't love me anymore." She says, "Look, until life gives you something right, you don't see how wrong you've been." He says, "Look, if you decline my proposal, if you say no, it's over between us." She knows, and she still says no. He's mad and rushes off. She yells after him that she's sorry, but it does little to make him feel better. Inside, her dad is waiting for her. She explains it's all over with her boyfriend. He comforts her with different stories about how he met her mother and how wonderful it was when she was born. She feels better after their little talk. Cut over to Luke and Bull preparing for their rodeo. Bull tells him that he should go fight for Holly. "You need to tell her how you feel. Let her decide who she wants." Luke frets about this for a moment, but then agrees. He takes one of their horses and rides off. And I thought this was silly because he's only been to that house once, and yet he's going to figure out how to get there on a horse from wherever he is in New Jersey? And yet that is exactly what he does. He also doesn't have a cell phone, so he can't ask for help if he gets lost. We got to Holly sitting outside on the swing, wishing on the stars again. We still don't learn exactly what she wants, but we can guess. Then she hears a horse. "It's Luke. What are you doing here?" she asks. He says Christmas is the time to be with the ones you love. He's looking for his soulmate. From the second he saw her, he knew he'd love her. Sorry, not just love her for the rest of his life. But then he asks her about her boyfriend, and she admits that she broke up with him because she fell in love with a cowboy. They kiss and then get on the horse and ride away. The end. This movie was fine. I really liked the song in the middle. The acting was fine. I've seen the guy that played Luke in something else, but I can't remember what it was. So that's unfortunate. But regardless, it was fine. If you're looking for a little movie, you can, and I have done worse than One Starry Christmas. That's it for this episode. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach me at JOEMOC on social media. Until next time, my friends, take care. Talk to you then.